Time now for one of our good friends of the show to join us here on Golf Talk Canada. Golf Canada's CEO Laurence Applebaum. LA, happy holidays. Welcome back to GTC.
Thank you, Adam. It is great to be back on GTC. Great to see you as well. And I have to say, right off the top, I've just been enjoying TSN highlights more than ever before with you in that dual role. So thanks, Adam.
Absolutely. And now that Movember is past, the mustache is now gone, but a great year to raise money for a very important cause. Now, we're a part of our year in review series here, 2025, another great year for Canada in golf. When you look back on 2025 LA, what will you remember most?
Well, first of all, and it's timely, I'm so pleased to have been medically cleared for chipping and putting. So for me, just like Tiger, I feel great about getting back into the game. Um, but it really has, Adam, been a special, special 2025. And we've been on a run of them now. We've really been lucky. You and I talking at year end has been a way to look back at the year and say, wow, what a year, and how we're going to keep that momentum. And when we look at the state of Canadian golf in 2025, it has built on the shoulders of those past years. It's just been an electric year. Some will say the best ever. We've had a couple of those back to back now. But I just look at the participation part. The participation for me, Adam, is it's it's a party that a lot of people are at, and that a lot of people have been invited to, and that they're sort of keeping this party going. And again, we're seeing the national numbers crest over 6 million, but it's that level of play that we're seeing. So, as you would know, and many of your listeners know, with regards to Golf Canada Score Center, the handicap, our app, we have great data on how many rounds of people are playing, and what level, what kind of handicap movement we're seeing. And so 11.2 million scores in 2025, the most ever recorded in our history. And just to give a little perspective, it's like almost 6 or 7% up over 2024. But if you look to pre-COVID numbers, it's almost 50% up. So 11 million recorded scores. And then notionally, along with our friends at the NGCOA, the National Golf Course Owners Association, they're seeing similar numbers on the broad spectrum. So we're comfortably over 70 million rounds of golf in our country. People are playing tons. A lot of people's handicaps are getting better. Some are not going better, but we love all play, all golf. So it's been fantastic.
Okay, there's a couple of things there. First of all, the chipping and putting, that was pretty funny. But the numbers, I mean, that's crazy. Chatting with Adam Dafala a couple of weeks back, we spoke a little about this too. But to think, LA, that we're what, 50% up since the pandemic and 7% up since last year. What do you attribute that rise of Canadian golfers here across the country?
Well, I think we're seeing a confluence of factors. We're seeing the core golfer who maybe played 20, 25 rounds, which was a little considered a fair bit of golf, are now playing 45 to 50 rounds. The new golfers are coming to the game, and they are seeking it out in ways that we've never seen before. We're also seeing that factor of the two ends of the tail, which is the older demographic of golfer who are healthier, more active, being more engaged than ever before. You know, 70s the new 60, 60s the new 40. And then youth golfers, I mentioned, people playing, they're getting on golf courses, and then new people to game, which includes a lot of, new of every age, more women, more diverse communities are playing, which we've been saying for a while now, but we're seeing it in every state. The only downside of that is there has never been more, I don't want to call it stress, but there's been just been more activity on the tee. At every private or semi-private golf club, they know it's super hard, and public golf courses are getting record numbers. Here, I could just sort a couple stats to you is that I know it, for example, at our partners at Osprey Valley, TPC Toronto, they're amongst their three golf courses are going to be over 65,000 rounds new. A lot of the golf courses have events on them, so maybe not. But 65,000 rounds between the three golf courses is really a wonderful place. juxtapose that with something like Don Valley Golf Club, one of our favorites in North York, GTA, and that golf course on their own is going to get high 50s, maybe 60,000 rounds by itself.
Wow. Wow. Well, let's just say Canadians love golf, love to play golf, and they also like to root on some great golfers as well. And one of the great highlights professionally in 2025, of course, was Brooke Henderson of the CPKC Women's Open at Mississauga. And we had a great week that week together, and we'll get to that shortly. But when you look back at what Brooke was able to do to make history, to win her National Open for the second time, just how incredible was that week?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it with you before and with Bob and Mark a couple times where we sit and we watch Brooke in quite a bit in awe. I mean, she had a quieter season in terms of not getting a win until later on in the year. But if you save the best for last and the win that she brought home and the spirit in which she did it, neck and neck with Minji Lee, another great competitor who's had an amazing year, and then playing really well at the CME Globe, the year-end LPGA Tour event was really finished the season off, Brooke, the way we love to see it. And what part of Brooke's incredible qualities and her part of her developing legacy as already the most winning golfer of all time is there's this group that is coming under Brooke that sees her as such a mentor, sees her as such an icon, and we have some incredible athletes coming on, just in the amateur game and just in that sort of young pro stage. But Brooke winning, Adam, was such a highlight. I know that you and I got to test that golf course. We're going to talk about that experience together a little bit, and also getting to see the number one player in the world, Jeeno Thitikul, playing up close and personal in second. But Brooke winning, Nick also registering a W this year. Our new PGA Tour entrant, Sudarshan, the
Mhm.
killer, joining the PGA Tour, the first new PGA Tour player since Taylor Pendrith in 2021. So we're really excited about those wins, the excitement going on with all of our players. Corey Connors had his best year ever, finishing as high as he ever had in the FedEx Cup listing. So we just got so much going into, and I know that the some of the boys are playing this week at Tiger's event down at Albany in the Bahamas. So pretty exciting.
It really is. So many exciting stories in 2025. And something you touched on there was the impact that Brooke Henderson is having now on the next generation. And I was actually interviewing Mike Weir last week talking about the Mike Weir effect, how Weirzy winning the Masters in '03 has influenced this next generation of guys and gals to play professionally and look at the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour now. And Brooke Henderson's doing just that with this next wave of players. Vanessa Borovillos, who we also played with that day at Mississauga, Aphrodite Dang, who has had a life-changing season, Anna Huang too. And that's just to name a few players. Talk about the impact Brooke Henderson now has had on this next generation.
Yeah, I think it's so great when you have a chance to talk with Mike, and Mike and I are of the same vintage. Shout out to our original club sponsor, an employer of mine, Wilson Golf, who
Mm.
had Mike on the clubs when he turned pro. And Mike, like, it's so neat to see the spirit that Mike's in about giving back. Seeing, if you recall, at the President's Cup with that stable of Canadians, how the guys spend time with them. One of my highlights of the year, always, Adam, is watching the boys at the Masters practice round
Yes.
and seeing him walking them through. And these guys are so locked in. It's a great, great thing. And when you see Mike live, just the graciousness, the time he has for people. And he's been doing that for, coming on 25 years, 20 years of doing that. So Brooke has taken that mantle. She feels that same honor and responsibility. So that's really neat. And you mentioned a couple of the Canadians. Let me just stop on some of the young
Mhm.
women that you're talking about. We've got the youngest rookie, female rookie on the Ladies European Tour, and Anna Huang. She's a name that a lot of your listeners might not know quite yet, but she won back to back on the Ladies European Tour. She's our second highest ranking Canadian behind Brooke now, and she's done that by not playing LPGA Tour events for the most part. So you're going to see a lot about her. And then the Vanessa Borvils from Mississauga and Lauren Kim from British Columbia. Both are playing great, have the highest Wagger ranking of any young women. We have three Canadians, I believe, in the top 100 now. So fast forward to this spring, the college season, maybe the ANWA, maybe it'll be a chance for us to have two young entrants into the ANWA, which would be a real achievement. So um, people doing great, playing great golf and getting to see it up close is so incredible.
It really is. And on the men's side, you mentioned Corey Connors having his best statistical season with all those great finishes, both at signature events and at the majors. Nick Taylor getting a win, Taylor Pendrith another good year, Mackenzie Hughes another very solid year. And you've seen these guys up close and personal a bunch at the major championships. Do you think the next step for one of these Canadians is to really knock on the door and who knows, maybe win a major championship next season?
Yeah, I think that theme has been developing for a little bit now, and I would say inside the locker room, I know those guys feel it. That we went from being excited to see a Canadian flag on leaderboard occasionally to seeing it pretty regularly, and now we're seeing it happen at major championships. And I think that that's going to be the next door that this crop of really seasoned veteran players are going to really break through in 2026. You mentioned them, Corey, Mac, Taylor, um, Mackenzie. And then also, I want to make sure that we give a shout out to guys who have had a tough moment in having to not return their cards. So Adam Hadwin, Ben Silverman, Adam Svensson, guys who've been on the PGA Tour for a while now. I want to make sure that they feel the support from all of Canada, knowing that we're with them. We know they're grinding. They've got some amazing events coming up with some Q school opportunities, but a big shout out to those three guys and their return to the PGA Tour. I know they're going to all be back, so really rooting for all those fellas.
Yeah, 100% golf in Canada, both on the men's and women's side. A lot of strength right now, which is really great. Now, we touched upon this a little earlier in the conversation. Our Wednesday Pro-Am experience at the CPKC Women's Open, where we played with up-and-coming star Vanessa Borovilos. Oh, and then world number one, Jeeno Thitikul, which was such a highlight. Are you like me, LA? Do you look back and look at some of the videos you took of Gino's swing at the tempo, at how easy she made it look, and say, hey, maybe I can go out and take some practice swings now that we're in the cold here in Canada?
Yeah. Well, I think that one of my favorite photos that we shared together was, you and Jeeno walking off one of the elevated sort of tees at Mississauga and walking down, and I could just see you picking her brain. This player, as you mentioned, sort of this really nice, easy tempo. What a short game. What a just a controlled way of going around the golf course, which I tried to take as many of those sort of moments from her. I think she had the lowest scoring average. I think she broke Annika's record for the lowest scoring average ever in LPGA Tour history, which is amazing. Humble, um, humble, competitive. Um, here it was, you were hitting bombs many times by her, and then she's, trying to roll putts in for birdie, and you and I are trying to scramble to make sure that we get it back on the green and keep it rolling. But she was so exciting to play with. It was great to see her watch her way work around a golf course, and I think she's a really like a breakout star and just such a wonderful human being. And I think that maybe just a small tangent is how great the state of the LPGA Tour is with the new commissioner, Craig Kessler. He's a big fan of what we're doing in Canada. He's been a big supporter. And I think he's going to do some incredible storytelling with players like Jeeno, players like Brooke, and just really trying to elevate with that wave of women's sport that's coming through for the LPGA. But what a day at Mississauga on the Wednesday.
It was such a great day. And speaking of women's sport, continuing to elevate and excitement, we got to talk next year. Royal Mayfair 2026 CPKC Women's Open. I chatted with Claire Welsh a couple weeks back about her excitement about the tournament. What should fans be most excited about as we look ahead to next year's CPKC Women's Open?
Well, it's just like any defending champion. You get a defending champion in Brooke, you're starting the year off incredible. We have not. Here's the other part: defending champion Brooke Henderson, defending local champion Lydia Ko,
That's right.
who won as one of a second back-to-back wins. So Royal Mayfair, a lot of folks have not been able to get to that part of the country to play golf. Royal Mayfair is a gem. They've built one of the most beautiful clubhouses in our country, which is really exceptional. And we generally know Adam coming sort of right out of the shoot in the fall prior to a championship. What's the energy like? What's the feeling like? It's come out top of the heap, number one sort of fall pre-sale, pre-energy, I would call it. And so Claire was right. Royal Mayfair is going to be quite a spectacle. All four rounds are going to be covered on a combination of Golf Channel and TSN, which is really exciting. For us, being out west, being there with the crew that we have in Canadian golf, the players that are coming through, I think it's just going to be one of those must-see events. And I always think it's like, man, it's August, which we immediately think, oh man, it's comes to sort of the back end of the season for us. But it's really such a highlight for our organization, Golf Canada, for our title sponsor in CPKC. It's a really wonderful event. So if you are in the area, in the region, please, third week of August, Royal Mayfair. It'll be great. And I know you're going to be out there, Adam. So it'll be wonderful.
Absolutely. I can't wait for that. There's so many great events to look forward to in 26. Of course, the RBC Canadian Open returning to TPC, Toronto, many great amateur events across the scale. But LA, in closing here, you've been at this role with Golf Canada for quite some time now. If you could, what's your favorite aspect about what you do with Golf Canada?
Oh, that's a great question, Skulls. There's so many good things. There's so many things that I'm very fortunate to get a chance to see. And I probably look back at some of the gatherings where we have our entire golf milieu together, where it's partners and members and staff and volunteers getting to celebrate some golf. And I probably think back to the 18th green at TPC Toronto Osprey Valley, that playoff, Sam Burns, Ryan Fox, the first time they changed the golf hole purposely during the playoff, and just feeling that human energy around the game. And you know, I'm addicted to this game, and I get to see people who fall in love with it, and it becomes part of their friends and family and their life. And I remember that Sunday. I remember seeing, in particular, I remember seeing our friends from RBC, Dave Mackay, Mary DePauli, walking back and forth during the playoff run, and going, man, I hope this ends look in a way we want. And then Ryan Fox hits that amazing 3-wood, and we got a champion, and an amazing champion at that. So that's been a lot of the fun, is really seeing the whole community involved in the sport and the game.
It's a great time to be a fan of golf all around the world, and especially here in Canada. LA, congratulations on yet another great year in golf. Happy holidays, my friend. Looking forward to catching up early in 2026.
Thanks, Adam. All the best to you, your family, and all of Golf Talk Canada. Take care.